any further.
Oh, man.
Yeah, be the dungeon master, Jared.
Sure, yeah, do it.
But you have to make cool sounds,
Be our host.
special effects.
Your hostess and hostess.
All these just enormous rips, ass rips from
You
Remi.
need the radio DJ, the morning DJ voice.
Oh,
Always.
quick
And
thing.
welcome to KEXP!
Perfect.
Welcome to Stretch Goal Cast. This is episode 10 of your podcast for the latest in crowdfunded video games on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Steam Early Access. I am Jared Wuerzburger.
Hi, I'm Justin Nichols.
Hello, I'm Clinton Ma.
And I am Remi Storms.
And this week, we got quite a bit going on for our episode 10. We're going to talk about Planets³, Duelyst, and Galactic Princess, all three of which are Kickstarter games. And Remi is going to start us off with Planets³. Remi?
Yes. Well, first, I believe the name is just Planets, and that 3 is... At first, I thought it was like Planets3, but it's just like the... I don't know, playing
You're
words
telling me I
because
blew
it's
the name.
Yes, but you got the name.
I do that crap all the time.
Anyways, as soon as you guys see the video, you're totally gonna think of one game, right? I'm trying to get.
It's a bit of. Isn't it a really small indie game? I forget what it was. It kind of blew over quickly.
Yeah, I think it was.
It rhymes with Warcraft.
No, well,
Minecraft,
the
right?
game we're obviously talking
know.
about is Minecraft, and this game, Planets, it's pretty much visually, at least, very similar to Minecraft, in which it's a free 3D voxel-based game in which you can pretty much go anywhere, do whatever you want, build and destroy as you want, as you wish. But one of the things that got my attention is that, unlike Minecraft, this game you actually have a story, because it's an RPG, and they don't really say much about the story. It just has to do something with aliens crash landing on a planet a long time ago, and that's kind of the mystery behind this world. But the interesting part about this game is that you have actually things to do. It's not just like they throw you in this huge world and you can do whatever you want. You have a goal. You have characters that will help you. In this case, I don't think they show many of the characters, but one of them is called... Give me 1 second, because I don't remember the name. But one of them is the... sorry about that. It's all the way here. His name is Watts, and he's a blacksmith. And obviously, he's going to be a very important part on this game, because he's going to be the one that's going to be teaching you how to build or craft low-level tools, armors, weapons, and all that, which is one core mechanic of this type of games, such as Minecraft. The difference is that if you remember in Minecraft, you had to pretty much go online and find how to make a sword or how to build, I don't know, your first pickaxe. And that was probably part of the fun in that. But this game, what's doing, it's just grabbing a lot of Minecraft elements and just making or building an RPG around it. And I guess it's going to be easier for players to understand this, because apparently they're going to grab your hand and teach you what you have to do. So that's pretty interesting. Another thing I wanted to mention is that you can create not only tools but vehicles and spaceships, because this doesn't happen just in this planet. It's, for what they say, an entire galaxy or solar system or whatever, just made out of cubes. So once you're ready to gather all your resources and energy, I guess, you can build vehicles and spaceships and go and explore the cubic galaxy. That's pretty much it. I don't know what you guys think about it. I am very excited, but start.
I think it looks pretty neat. I guess it intrigues me to have more of a, I'm going to say round. I know it's exact opposite, right? It's a squared off like planet, and I think what's interesting is that there's going to be a top and a bottom of the planet, and there's different levels of this planet. There is a molten lava core. There's a north and south pole. It sounds pretty interesting all around. I think that these games in this sort of genre, especially ones that are heavily influenced by crafting, are still making their way through the ranks, and people are still wanting to play these games. I think this brings more of a realistic approach instead of just like a randomly generated world that doesn't have any sense to it. Rather, they're just using an algorithm. I think this is neat, and I don't even think other games in this genre really have transit like vehicles and stuff, right? Because this is pretty neat to drive across.
Yeah, when you said more rounded, like it is important to note that this game is not just cubes, right? Like there are angles to it as well, like angle pieces that you can have. So that does make it gives it a bit of less of just cube Lego look like Minecraft had, and gives a bit more of, I guess, like just a low poly sort of papercraft look I'm getting from this. And there's a lot of really beautiful screenshots in it, like really great lighting effects, nice shadow. So all that I think kind of helps it stand out. Same with the texture quality too. It's very flat colors, but just the way they're organized makes it look cool. It's got almost like a 3D pixel art feel to it. And yeah, it just seemed like what really got me was at the end of the video when it shows like, here's this crazy planet, and it zooms out, and then it shows like all these other planets in a solar system, and then it zooms out of that, and then there's like multiple solar systems. So I'm curious, like what does that actually mean? Is like each player has their own planet and you get to visit other planets, or who knows, right? But that looks cool.
Yeah, I have to admit that I'm not a Minecraft person. That's a big gap in my gaming resume. I've never really played Minecraft. It's huge on YouTube, so I have sort of experienced it secondhand that way. So I really can't say too much about the game. It looks really interesting, and definitely has that Minecraft look, all that voxel-based art, and it's got crazy ambition. What this really reminds me more of is a game like No Man's Sky, which was debuted at the VGX recently, where it's like, the world is not enough now. Like everyone's going big. It's not just one world. You can go to different worlds. They render and simulate like an entire galaxy or solar system, and that to me is really cool. As Justin said at the end of that video, they kind of hint at that huge sense of scale where you go between planets. Yeah, I mean the game seems a little muddled to me. It seems like, okay, it's an RPG, but you can do a lot of crafting, so it's like a playground, a sandbox sort of deal. But if it is RPG, there isn't really, they're not pushing forward any kind of story or any sort of like real premise. They go straight into the mechanics. And as someone who hasn't played a lot of Minecraft, I don't have that point of reference. So to me, it just seems like a lot of fun tools slapped into like a really huge playground, which is cool. I mean, the game looks great so far from what they show. So I'm really curious to see how this develops. Uh-huh.
I guess I always find games like these quite a bit of fun, but I don't have much longevity with them, strangely. Like, I've played probably maybe 10 or 15 hours of Minecraft, but it doesn't stay with me. I play it, and then I'm like, okay, this is okay, and then I go on to maybe another voxel game, I play it, this is okay. So it's like, I like the idea. I'm just not somebody, I guess, who spends a lot of time exploring the world and doing everything you can.
I like, when I played Minecraft, what I did, I didn't play for too long. I played during like this free beta weekend way back when, and during that time, I found out that I could build a boat, and so right away I built a boat and just started sailing around and just kind of exploring and looking for like just these cool, interesting, randomly generated landscapes and islands, and like seeing cool stuff like lava spill into an ocean, and I don't know, that was a lot of fun for me instead of just building, like a big house and just staying there forever. I wanted to like see the world. So I feel like this is even more like that. You can actually build a lot of different types of vehicles. So this kind of, I feel, is a bit more attractive to that exploration type of player. So I don't know. I think I might try it out. We'll see what happens. I'm not huge into Minecraft and those types of games, but I think this one seems like it's not trying to just completely be a ripoff like a lot of other Minecraft clones. This one actually seems like it's trying to go a little above and beyond.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really liked about this game. Even though it's technically it's spacey themed, I guess they're also trying to get some of this space fans, right, into this type of world. But yeah, the Minecraft elements are pretty fun for me because I spend a lot of hours in that type of games. And a couple of things I forgot to mention is that they talk about the different type of combat that you can have, and I thought originally that it was going to be like most of the RPGs where you pick up a class and you're stuck with that class until the end of the game. But it seems like once you pick your character, you can choose the type of combat that you're going to have based on what you are wearing. So if you're wearing a light robe, then you're going to be like obviously a quicker character. I don't know, maybe like a thief or something. And obviously if you get heavy armor, then you're going to move slower, but you're going to deal way more damage. So that's another thing that I found interesting. And just to, I guess, end this segment of the game, I just want to mention that they have currently for a little bit over $40,000 of the $250,000 they're asking for, and they still have 26 days to go. I'm definitely gonna give them my money, and hopefully they will reach their goal.
Well, if you give $210,000, they will, Remi. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I
it's all up to you. No, I don't know. I think this one might be kind of close. But I hope they make it because it definitely looks pretty cool.
And I guess that budget is a little high. What do you guys think about $250,000 to pull this thing off?
It's a lot to ask for, but this is a pretty big game. So it's an honest, I'd say, it's honest asking price, but yeah, it's gonna be tough because there are so many. I mean, for one, it's hard to compete with Minecraft. To try and get people away from that, and but I think I don't know. I think if they try to really push it and get their name out there, that enough people will see some of these screenshots, and those alone might get people interested. Because the look is definitely more attractive.
Yeah,
That's good.
I would say the price they're asking it's a bit high, and it's not even like a stretch goal. It's like the lower tier of money. So I guess they know how much money the original Minecraft made. So they're, maybe just trying to think they will make a pretty much big amount as well.
Hundreds of millions. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, for that, it is a steep asking price to fund a project, and for that amount, you almost expect a prototype that you can download and try out, some kind of proof of concept. I think that'd be a easier sell.
Or
But,
be
you
a
know.
very well-established company.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It's all
Maybe
good
they're
points.
Maybe they're just thinking outside of the box. So
Maybe. Oh,
Jeez.
we're gonna go with that. We can't even go on to the next project. It was so funny. Justin had to get up. He left.
Drops the headset.
That was a terrible joke. I know.
Outside the voxel. Well, speaking of trying to,
I'm going to
get
play
a little-
Titanfall.
Who's gonna go play Titanfall? Speaking of, trying to maybe to have a smaller budget in mind when you put up a Kickstarter. Duelyst. I think we're gonna talk about Duelyst next, and I think Clinton's gonna take that.
Yeah, let's talk about Duelyst. I'm still composing myself after that segue from Remi. Take a deep breath. It's just like that's hot stuff.
Voxel.
So-
Get out of here.
Duelyst is a Kickstarter. Comes to us by Counterplay Games out of San Fran. I want to say, yeah, as of this recording, it's pretty fresh. The campaign just went up today, and they already have 419 backers. They're looking for $68,000, and they've already racked up 21,601. And what this is, Duelyst is a squad-based tactical combat game. So it's mixing sort of like tile-based army versus army, turn-based strategy with collectible card games. It's not so apparent from the screenshots, but yeah, there is going to be a CCG element to this. So you have spells and units. You plan the board, all that stuff. Really interesting thing with this game, or there are a few. First thing is that the developers come from some heavy-hitting places, I would say. You have the developers who are from Diablo 3 team. I think the lead on this project was a lead producer for Diablo 3 and other Blizzard projects. And you also have the artist and maybe some other guys who worked on Rogue Legacy. So some high-profile stuff there already. And the game itself looks pretty nice. When I first saw it, I chuckled to myself because I thought, man, this art style is just perfect for, say, Justin. And Justin loves these type of games too, as do I, turn-based tactics. And it does remind me a bit of something like Hyperlight Drifter, and I want to say maybe Scrolls, just a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely tout that their art style and their, I guess, backstory is they made up an acronym. It's called NAGF, or NAGF, not another generic fantasy. And you can be the judge of that yourself. It's not entirely original, I would say, but it's got some really interesting things. If you scroll down on the campaign page, you can see some nice concept art. You can see that it's got sort of that fantasy tech vibe. You know, could get some influence from Guild Wars if you played that game, where it's not straight up Tolkien fantasy, but it's also not wholly original either. Like I'm trying to think of like maybe Morrowind. Morrowind is a pretty unique setting for an RPG. Somewhere in between. Aside from that, I don't know what else there to say. The pitch video is done pretty well. It's that's a trailer for the game. And the game itself, I think, is not too big and not too small. I mean, they're not going to be creating a really in-depth single-player campaign with a story wrapped around it. It's going to be straight-up multiplayer. You can play single-player practice, and then you can play like practice rounds casually against the AI, and then if you hit online, you can play ranked normal games, which is you customize your own deck, so it's a constructed format, and you play against other players. Or you can play ranked draft, which, if you don't know, draft is like you get a random set of cards and you just create a deck with what you have, and you just compete against other people who have done the same. And yeah, I mean, this looks really interesting. I pretty much just put in a little pledge on this right away, since this pretty much ticks off all the checkboxes that I look for in a game that I will play personally. Yeah, what do you guys think? I think I've talked enough about this, and I want to get you guys' opinions on this.
Well, at first I was pissed off that you took this game, because when I saw it, I wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right away from the visuals, like, the art's great, the animations are fantastic. I initially thought about, is it called Transistor? That one game that's being worked on right now, that like the color palette kind of reminds me of it. Just super rich, saturated colors, very vibrant, and just amazing visual effects going on when you do attacks. I saw like one attack happen, and it caused like this bright beam to explode, and it caused like multiple explosions, and you could just see the shadows of all the characters around, like moving quickly. All that, just really great feedback, which is really important for, I think like a turn-based combat system, because, the action isn't going to be super fast-paced, or, like you're not going to get a lot of excitement from that, but you will, like, seeing the actions take place will be pretty cool. That's something that I felt like Scrolls was kind of lacking in, but I think they're kind of nailing it with this game. Yeah, so the look of it's cool. Definitely, it kind of has like a bit of like an anime feel to it, even though it is pixel art. But like their concept art kind of has that vibe going for it, and also the just like the style of the characters, their poses and everything. I love the guy with two shields, that guardian guy. Awesome characters. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'll be chipping in for this one as well. It sounds like a solid team behind it, so I'm confident that they'll end up producing a game.
Well, and that $15 early bird special seems like it's a no-brainer. Quite a few of us have come from a pretty strong, trading card game background. There's a couple of games that we've played. I know Clinton mentioned Scrolls have kind of similar attributes, but I think it kind of. I guess I haven't played too many of these strategy game-based situations where you're actually able to move the character completely around the board. I guess maybe, what did I play last? I'm not gonna remember. But I guess maybe one game I've played, but each character has a certain amount of movement, which I thought was like an element of chess, which is neat. And I guess the only thing I have a question about is pertains to the artwork. I noticed that they almost supply two different versions of the artwork. They have like a concept art, I guess, version of the characters that they've kind of showcased, and they also have the actual in-game render version. Which is there a reason you think that there's a difference between that concept art? Because they could have drawn that as the in-game artwork, right?
I would have to imagine that the pixel art render is when you actually summon the unit board, but then when you actually see it as a card, you might get the really nice illustration on the card. I mean, that's what I would want. But they don't really show a lot of what the actual cards look like from the screenshots. I don't think they even show it in the video, so that could be something that they're still working on.
Anybody notice that the Bloodborne General looks like Beauty and the Beast? Looks like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Kind of, yeah.
But with
some of the characters kind of have
arms.
Yeah. some of the characters kind of in the video look like Akuma to me from Street Fighter, like the big thick brow.
Yeah, yeah, does that have that sort of like
I like it. I like that. That's not a knock on
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, the art is definitely familiar, but also unique at the same time. It's really interesting.
So Remi, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, all I can say is that I'm really excited about the way that this game looks. I mean, the art is amazing for what I've seen. I really like how the backgrounds of the, if it's a board, I guess, it's like hand drawn and the characters are like pixel based. But one of the things I really like is that the animations are very fluid. Even though it's pixel based, you can like kind of feel the motion of each character if you look at the video. So I really enjoy the way this game looks. I don't know how it's gonna feel like, if it's similar to Scrolls, because I haven't played that many games like this, but I'm definitely excited about the art style, and I bet it's gonna be pretty fun as well.
Yeah,
Have you heard of Card Hunter?
Yeah, I played a bit of Card Hunter.
Heard of it, never played it.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is. It kind of has that same vibe, maybe.
Yeah, free plug for those of you who have not tried Card Hunter. It's a great game, browser game, free to play, and you don't really feel like you have to pay anything actually to enjoy the game. So yeah, it's been out for several months now, so definitely check that one out. But I just wanted to wrap up discussion on Duelyst. I'm interesting that it's coming out for PC, Mac, as I guess a client install, and it'll be available as a browser-based game on Chrome and Firefox. And something else that they tout is their business model, which they're stressing is not pay to win. So I think this is a game that is a pay once, play forever type of deal, and to unlock all the cards, you basically just have to put in the time. So that's a nice, refreshing change from the usual CCG business model, and we'll see if they can pull it off and retain the balance and get people interested enough to actually pay money right out the gate to play this. So that's it. That's all I want to say.
Well, they're getting us.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who else is getting us? Or who else that Mario has to get is he has to find his Galactic Princess. His Galactic Princess.
Go on.
And what do we have to do in Galactic Princess? Looks like Justin.
I'm doing Galactic Princess. So yes, Galactic Princess. This, if you are familiar with Firefly or the movie Serenity, then you pretty much know the premise here. You've got a galactic police force is out in the universe kind of pushing their agenda, but you are a space pirate captain, and you start with your simple modular ship, and you can collect a crew and explore a 2D pixel art sort of open world outer space area, and you'll primarily be attacking other ships with a variety of artillery, and then you can board the enemy vessels with your crew, loot their cargo. You can even actually enslave the enemy AI characters, and then you do all this to improve your own ship, the exterior and the interior, and your crew. The dev describes the combat as the opposite of FTL, so it's all real time, and you can directly control your ship, like how it moves around and what attacks you're doing, but you cannot directly control the individual crew members on your ship. But you can pause the game at any time to change your tactics up and give different tactical orders. So it's kind of got a bit of a RTS gameplay in there as well. So why are you doing this? It is an open world sort of type of game, but there is a narrative story to it as well, which you can follow. So I'll just kind of quote from their page. In your search for glory and power, a myth caught your attention, according to which somewhere in the galaxy lies a power that would bring the planets back to life. It is your destiny to travel through space looking for information that will lead you to this power. The myth has a name, and it is known as the Legend of the Galactic Princess. So this game kind of has a bit of it plays on a lot of like cliches in sci-fi. They mentioned that there's going to be humor sprinkled in, also drama. So yeah, there's going to be some fun parts to it, I think. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of it. I did go mining through their Greenlight page. They have been greenlit on Steam, and the developer put up like a FAQ discussion. And so some of the important things that I found from there would be you will only have one ship. You can of course upgrade it, add to it, build on top of it. But he says you won't control a fleet, but each ship will kind of feel like a fleet because you have this big crew on it as well. The pixel art style will kind of evolve as it goes on. He said like what's there right now is probably not going to be the final art of the game. So like it looks really good already. So I'm guessing with even more time and funding that they'll be able to make it look even better. And then we're supposed to be able to expect a beta within 2014. I recommend looking on their page at the spaceship versus spaceship video. I think that kind of gives you a good idea of like what the gameplay will kind of go like. At first, I was sort of not psyched about this game because it looked like your ships are just, very modular looking. All the rooms look like they're just like these same cubes, just stacked however you want to build it. And all the rooms looked exactly the same. But then in some of the other images and videos, it looked like that was maybe just kind of like a quick demonstration of showing how you can customize and build your ship. But actually each room does look quite unique and actually has different consoles on it. And those consoles are basically your HUD for the game. So the consoles on the ship will show like how much energy you have or oxygen levels and all that type of stuff that's important to keep track of. I could go into some more detail about the game, but I'll throw it to you guys and maybe get back to some of those details in a bit. So, one last thing is that this does end on March 16th, so it's coming up fast. So hopefully we can get this video out quick. And you can basically get a copy for $15 for the Kickstarter. And it's being made in Paris. So, what do you guys think?
Pass.
Next.
No, before I say pass. I actually like the art style in this game. I don't know why. It's not like my type of art style, but somehow it feels like it fits the theme and the environment and everything. And I guess I'm still not sure what will I be doing as a player, other than building my spaceship with this kind of room blocks and putting the thrusters wherever you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, actually, the position you put thrusters on matters because that will actually affect how you can maneuver your ship and how maneuverable it is. So there's some strategy to that. Other things are you are doing like trading. You can trade like items that you loot from other ships or that you can gather from other ways as well. Finding new crew members and things like that.
It's like internal and external ship design.
Yeah. So the external stuff is more, like your lasers, your antimatter charges. You've got defenses, and one of the defenses is called Time Bender. I'm not really sure what that is, but it sounds cool. And then there's like sensors and shields and engines.
Come on. Time, good. Yeah. Bender, better.
And they also have lightsabers. I mean, there's a lot of
yeah
really cool things for Star Wars fans, and one of the guys even looks like Han Solo. So
Yeah, it feels like when you're controlling the spaceship and fighting that way, it's kind of more like a action game. But then when you're actually using your crew, it's kind of an RTS feel because you're moving them around, giving them different orders. Yeah, there are melee characters and there are ranged characters, and there's like 10 different races that will be in the game. There's even pets. And yeah, a lot of different types of characters going on. It seems pretty deep. Like there's a lot of ways you can customize your crew and your ship.
And I guess she's already made her goal. We're going to have Galactic Princess for a low fee of €10, looks like. $16 USD. And I guess my favorite part about this is I like the artwork. I've only played a few, 2 or 3 games with this style of art, and then kind of where they're going with it, and a variety of game backgrounds, with the RTS, a little bit of RPG, a little bit of exploration. We've got quite a bit going on. I guess my favorite part about this entire Kickstarter is the rewards, and I giggle and like a little schoolgirl when I can have physical rewards from any kind of Kickstarter. I know you guys rip on me about having, like, there's even like an artwork book.
Oh yeah. The artwork books are always cool to have. Usually it's like you can get a digital one. A lot of times around if you do like a $30 investment, but if you want the actual book, that can maybe cost more to like $60. But yeah, art books are fun.
You can get a collector mug and a USB key.
Yeah, they've got like printed on like all this stuff.
I'm going to start a collection of Kickstarter mouse pads.
One other thing I like a lot, and this is just a nice small detail, is there's reflections. Like it shows like the characters walking, and then you can see a reflection of them on like the floor. So it's like a very shiny floor.
And there's another one of like you said, a character with the reflections of a character like a machine, and he's interacting with the machine. The machine's glowing, and you see the reflection on him.
Oh yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, definitely a Super Brothers type of art style going on for the look of it, which is pretty cool. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Like when I heard that they said like the pixel, it's going to stay pixel art, I believe, but they said like they might make some changes due to like the proportions of characters and stuff. So kind of what you're seeing right now may not end up how it looks for the final project, which I guess like I'm worried a little bit because I think it looks pretty cool, but I guess it could look better.
Yeah, well, there's some good attention to details you guys mentioned, the reflections and all that. I guess with this sort of game where it's a 2D pixel art game, that all that stuff is handcrafted. It's not like they have an engine that just does dynamic shadows and reflections. So it's pretty good sign to me anyway that they've got the visuals down. They're putting the attention there. I like how the game concept reminds me of FTL and an older game called Star Control, where the action-based combat definitely reminds me of Star Control. And then I guess the whole exploration aspect of it is very much FTL. Although I think I'm liking this more already. I've only put in maybe an hour into FTL. I'm not that great at it. I die pretty soon. It's one of those brutal roguelike experiences. And this is probably going to be the same. I don't know if you mentioned that.
It's not a roguelike.
It's not a roguelike? Okay.
No,
okay, so.
This is an open world action adventure type of game where there is a plot line to it and you have to you get there. So yeah, I assume you don't have to do it all in one run, but that's just kind of what I've pieced together from the discussions on Greenlight.
That's nice. Yeah, I mean, I do like the whole random aspect of FTL where you go about the solar system and you have these random encounters where you just make these decisions from like a multiple choice list, and I kind of like that experience. But then everything else about it was, the micromanagement of your crew, and so the brutal nature of the game itself was, a little off-putting. I can totally understand why people love it, and it's a game that I definitely want to play more of. But this looks more sort of like up my alley, where it's more about customization. It's more action-based combat. So you're more kind of like, it's less about just like a turn-based. You pick a place to shoot and see if you hit it. It's just more active and interesting. Overall, it's got more charm with the references to Star Wars and things like that. So I definitely think they're on the right track. I'm not surprised that they've already reached funding, and I hope that they can get more money and make it the best game that they can.
And the last challenge about this game is, what the hell is going on in this scene? Okay, so we've got a bleeding dude with stuff coming out of him. We've got this guy just looking at him. And then we got this Finn-like character with arms up like Finn from the time. So I don't know what the hell. And then we got Overlord with his drink, and he's like,
yeah, he's got like a chalice there.
Yeah. The guy with the tentacles, I think, is just surrendering. He's scared.
Yeah, he's got a gun pointed to him. Yeah. This is what you have to look forward to in the game. This is what will happen if you fail. I think that's probably like sort of like the emperor of this galactic republic that's trying to take over, the whole galaxy. But yeah, I think that there is, at the end of the trailer, there is like a brief moment where you see like a princess character and it just says "find her." So I assume that there is some sort of princess out there that you are looking for, and maybe the galactic government is also searching for her as well.
Cool. And Clint had a fantastic idea this week. He suggested we've gone through quite a few. This is our 10th episode. We've gone through quite a few different Kickstarter campaigns over the past couple months, and he suggested that we revisit a few of maybe our favorite or maybe our not so favorite, and kind of give a status update on their success or on their failures, and maybe have a few laughs along the way. So let's start off our speed round, and I think we've got a couple on the list. We would like to take a few of these.
Yeah, well, I rounded up a few projects that we've covered in the past, and the theme across all of these is that they had been canceled Kickstarters. And that's not doom and gloom, fortunately. Well, let's just start off with the first game. The most recent one is Hive Jump. We talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago. And we're all pretty high on this game. This was the sort of pixel art co-op sci-fi shooter with procedurally generated levels. And you and your friends would just go in and shoot bugs together and collect sweet loot. And everything with this project looked like it was pretty good, although they had an announcement maybe last week where they said that they were scrapping the Kickstarter and they were going to reboot in the future. And I think one of the reasons they gave was that they wanted to come back stronger with like a more fleshed out prototype, or maybe a prototype to begin with, to show to people. And I think to maybe clear up the messaging. So that seems to be sort of like the main reason that anyone would cancel their Kickstarter and postpone it for later. I think that's a good move, especially if there are tools out there, if not from Kickstarter itself, but there are third-party sites you can visit, and then they give projections on Kickstarter projects based on how much money they've earned in the amount of time they've been active. So based on those sort of forecasting tools, people can kind of estimate with reasonable margin of error whether they're going to hit their funding goal or not. So, and of course, people keep their eyes on the feedback, on the comments, and all this is really useful, especially if you've only gone Kickstarter. This is the first time you've been on Kickstarter. And so there's a lot of lessons that you learn, right? The next game that also got canceled, had their Kickstarter postponed, was Jurassic Genetics. I know this was a popular topic about a month ago. And this was the dinosaur theme park game, heavily inspired by Jurassic Park, of course. And again, as with the Hive Jump team, they decided to come back with a working prototype to show people, and perhaps clear up the messaging as well. Since we did talk about the IP infringement, all that sort of stuff, all those complications with this game, and I think they wanted to clear that up as well, and have a more solid prototype to have people try out. Well, you guys have the list in front of you. Any of you want to talk about some of the other games that have had their Kickstarters canceled? The next one we have is Algobot.
You assume we have it in front of us.
Man, I was getting pretty psyched for Algobots.
Yeah. For those who don't remember, Algobots was the robot-themed educational game that would teach people programming logic in the context of a puzzle game. And I think when I saw the update on this, they did mention that they really wanted to clean up their messaging for sure, because there was a lot of confusion among us too about whether this is more an entertainment product or if this is more educational project, or if it's going to try and straddle the line in between. And I think their ultimate intention is to make something that's fun, right? But there is a mixed messages there with the current Kickstarter, and that's why they decided to put it on hold and come back with a better message and more more concise presentation.
Which is sad because they didn't even reach 10% of their goal. They just barely missed the 10% of their goal.
Good point. Yeah, that's probably a big reason why they decided to scrap it for now too. They kind of saw the writing on the wall. They saw the numbers and they thought, okay, well, something's wrong here. So who knows if they even set the funding goal a little lower next time. And last but not least, on the speed round of Kickstarters that have been canceled, is Darklands. This is the endless runner with the sort of limbo-esque art style. You control a burly sword-wielding warrior, and then you're just like running across the screen, avoiding obstacles or killing them. The reason why they decided to postpone this one, or just cancel the Kickstarter for now, is I think they secured some private funding, and I think that made them reassess the scope of the project, or perhaps the investor sort of like maybe injected some, laid out some conditions for them that they changed the game enough so that it wouldn't be the same game as it's presented in Kickstarter. I'm just going off complete memory here, but I believe that's the core of the reason why they decided to cancel the Kickstarter, is that they got some outside money, and that changed the game enough so that what you see on the Kickstarter page is not going to be the game that they plan to deliver.
And you know what they're going to change for private funding, don't you?
I don't know.
They're going to call it Dark Flappy. And he's going to be flapping his giant wings and going over the obstacles, and how they got the money.
Exactly. I think their private investor said, look, we'll give you $5 million, but you have to put a bird in this game.
Every bird works. Flappy Birds works. Everyone likes birds.
You have to put birds and candy and make it a saga. So,
nice. So that being said, what has everybody kind of been playing this week?
Cards Against Humanity.
True.
We tried that game out. Yeah. Jared printed off some cards and cut them lovingly.
I had 20 minutes.
I know.
I had to cut 35 pages with 12 cards per page.
With safety scissors.
So they just have an official print and play version of this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I remember I downloaded the PDF for it as well, because they were currently out of stock on their website. So they're like, here you go, you can just print these out and play with them if you want. It's a lot of fun, but I mean, gameplay-wise, I like to think that, well, you could win the game without ever looking at any of the cards in your hand, just by picking up your cards and then just placing them out randomly. You could still win the game. So, but I mean, it's not really a game about winning. It's just a fun kind of hang out and have fun type of experience. It's a pretty casual, goofy. Yeah. The fun part is just hearing people have to say what it is on the card.
Yeah, this is one of those games that it's another head slapper where it's like someone out there just figured upon the idea of making a crude version of apples to apples, basically, right? And who would have thought? And laughing all the way to the bank now. It's one of those head slappers.
I think it was well timed, well placed, right? Apples to Apples came out in the early 90s, maybe. So now those 90s people, 90s kids who played Apples to Apples as kids, are growing up. Their sense of humor has changed, and now that you just target a game that people already know, it seemed like a pretty awesome. I know they're giving it out for free, so it wasn't necessarily a business strategy, but it seems like it's pretty awesome. Pretty good idea.
Mm-hmm.
What else is Remi? What are you up to this week? Because you seem very relaxed over there.
Yeah, people can't see me relaxing. I thought that was going to be on the recording, but no, the little squares don't show up, so I can pretty much do whatever I want. Actually, this week, since last week I couldn't really play anything, I decided to go into my humble bundle games that are gathering dust, as most of us probably have.
Nice.
And I found one that's called Wuerzburger. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, from Tribute Games.
Yep, Tribute.
I don't know if you guys heard of it. I know Justin have, right? It's pretty much I don't know if you remember Arkanoid, I believe it's called. This game where you have blocks on the top of the screen and you control this little bar on the bottom.
Yes.
And a little ball is just bouncing all the way, right, and destroying.
Some people mistake that with Breakout.
Breakout, yeah.
Breakout.
But it is Arkanoid.
Right? It is Arkanoid. So it's pretty much that. It's the same mechanic, but they mask it with a little bit of RPG, like old RPG or adventure game look. Right? You can even see some characters there that you can actually attack. And they even have like boss fights. But again, it's just the objective of the game is just bounce your magic ball into this enemies, blocks, and you have like a couple of magic elements there that you control with your left and right mouse buttons. But it's pretty good, and I like the art style of that game. You should check it out if you have it there.
Mm-hmm. They're also, that same company, Tribute, they have a game on Steam Early Access right now called Mercenary Kings. And it's actually going to be coming out soon. Pretty cool game. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that next week or something.
Oh wow, this Wuerzburger game looks pretty neat, and it's cheap. I think I'll have to buy this today.
And it's pretty fun. It's cool. And I'm looking forward for the Mercenary Kings as well. We should definitely talk about it someday. Also, we should talk about what are we going to play live someday, because we just say it and we never do it.
Say it every week. We'll play this week. Next week.
We'll play this week.
After.
Yeah, we should do it. We have a game on the list, I believe. Right?
There's a couple options, yeah. Clint, anything new with you?
Well, the game we're all referring to is Path of Exile, and yeah, it'd be great if we could all get together, start new characters, and hack some monsters together. Maybe we can even get some recording going on and do some Let's Play action, scream into the mic, act scared, and, boost up those views, huh?
Sell out.
until until we do that, though, I haven't been playing all too much. I've been pretty busy with actual work. But when I do get a chance, I've been playing more Diablo 3 on Xbox. It's still good.
Did he get the updates the PC got?
I've been playing also the new Diablo 3, the new and improved Diablo 3 on PC. They rolled out the Loot 2.0.
And how is that? Because I've been getting excited.
Wow, before we started recording, I was like, okay, well, let's fire this baby up and let's give it a whirl. And a lot of little tweaks, right? But let's just talk about the loot. So I head in, I boot up my monk character, who's in his like level 50s, and I abandoned this character ages ago because, as you know, old Diablo 3, the loot was just terrible, right? I just stopped looking at loot. I didn't even care. I didn't pick anything up, but the moment, I warped back into one of the dungeons, and within minutes, like, actual good stuff was dropping on the ground. And the way they've redesigned the loot, you have your primary sort of attributes, and you have secondary, they call affixes, but I don't think anything dropped that wasn't for the monk, right? It was all class specific, it was all tuned for my guy. I think I had one thing drop for the demon hunter, and it was awesome. Like I had like a legendary drop within 10 minutes, if not sooner, and then a bunch of rares that drop, and everything I would just like, before I would just like barely look at the descriptions and be like, yeah, it's not even increasing my primary stat, it's junk. Or I would look at the, does it increase any damage, or does it improve health or toughness? I don't see any green arrows, okay, it's trash. But now there's some critical thinking involved when you're actually gonna equip or not equip a piece of loot. So this is what it was supposed to be from the beginning, and I don't know how they didn't see that. I guess they were all kneeling at the altar of their auction house and trying to accommodate that beast. But auction house is gonna be gone pretty soon. I think around the same time as the Reaper of Souls expansion comes out. This whole update is just a precursor to that. So it's it's a good time to get back into Diablo 3, I would say, if you've been away for a while.
Nice.
Definitely.
And Justin, what about you?
Well, besides Cards Against Humanity, I guess I've been playing more Loadout along that, and then also some of Titanfall today.
Like that.
I did want to give a quick shout out to a game I saw on Greenlight called Crawl. I don't know, it looks pretty cool. It's already been greenlit, and it's basically a dungeon crawler game where you play as the hero character, and the other players play as the monsters in the dungeon trying to kill you. And when one of them kills you, then they get to become the hero. And then like the final boss at the end of the dungeon is actually played by all three of the other players in this sort of like 4-player game. I think it's 4 players is like the max, but I think you could play like from, like 2 players to 4 players. Maybe even single player. I don't know too much about it just yet, but yeah, it seemed interesting.
Very cool. Yeah, as far as Justin mentioned Titanfall a little bit, we've been playing that a little bit this week. It actually officially releases tomorrow, but there were a series of hacks that were kind of released due to the availability and the resources that were included in the beta, which was launched. So people were taking elements of the beta and mixing it with their preloaded download for the game tomorrow, and they found that if they kind of moved some of this stuff around, the data files around, they could get the game to launch. So people have been playing for 4 days. Justin and I hopped on today, and there are people who've already maxed out on their level twice over.
Yeesh.
So it's fun. We can say it's fun. It's been fun. The NDA listed today, so if you're interested in follow-up, you can just search it all over the webs. Even Total Biscuit's got his video up.
So you guys not being max level, I'm assuming, compared to some of the hardcore players out
I
there.
rage. I have my rage moments. Yes, that's what you're asking.
Did you feel the discrepancy? Did you feel like you were missing
This is
something
stupid.
against some of these guys who are prestige?
A little bit, especially when it's like
Yeah.
you get the kill cam and you see like their gun and it's like, what gun is that? I don't know.
Great gun.
I get the idea that people like the sense of progression and the feeling of like, oh, I'm working towards something, but I like balanced gameplay. I like a fair playing field. That's where you can really test out people's skills. Then again, I don't think you're getting too much of a benefit from leveling up, but I don't know. That's my excuse, at least. You always have to have an excuse in your pocket for when you don't play well.
No, it's good stuff. So to kind of wrap us up, we've covered quite a bit today. This is our 10th episode. We appreciate everybody out there who has subscribed, all 60 of you. We appreciate it. And I know. Well, I guess we could be a little bit more active socially, which I think we're going to do. But if you got if anybody out there has got any suggestions for us, any games that you'd like to see covered, any comments or concerns, if I made a complete ass of myself, feel free to rip on us on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Anybody else got anything before we wrap up?
Not really. It's been a fun 10 episodes, and here's to another 10. God
100.
Nobody dies.
Don't die.
We've made it. Yeah,
Everybody-
it's been a lot of fun, and I kind of look forward to maybe doing some of these play videos. I think if we set them up to where it's a game that some of us have experience with and some of us don't have experience with, that could kind of be an interesting, I guess, like teaching the game and getting a perspective of someone who's been playing it and can give a lot of the deep system info and all the tips and tricks, and then someone who's completely coming at it blind and kind of getting their reaction to it. Because I always, it's like for anything, how you perceive it at first and then once you actually start to experience it are two totally different things. And it's kind of good to see someone progress and get better and better.
Like Remi.
I totally agree with that. It's a great idea.
He's gonna go in. Remi's gonna go in like he's never even seen Path of Exile, and then.
Yeah, every video of Remi is gonna be what is game.
He
Remi's
knows
gonna-
Wizorb.
I guess
Maybe
in
you
every
teach us
game we
Wizorb.
should have one completely new, just to, have that extra fun. Because remember, one of our teachers used to say, play the games you like, but also play a lot of games that you don't like, or play games that you hate, just so that you learn more from it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward for that, and it's gonna be fun. It's been fun so far, so looking forward to it.
Cool.
Cool. See everybody next time around. Thanks for watching Stretch Goal Cast, and we'll see you next week.
Stay stretchy.
Have a good one.
May the stretch
Take care.
be with you.
See you guys.